Hannibal was a groundbreaking genre-mixing TV show, filmed in an unusual way for its subject matter. The show began as a killer of the week style procedural drama with a gory twist, but leaned heavily into arthouse horror before becoming even more complex and twisted throughout season 3. Hannibal fits into the Hannibal Lecter stories after the movie Hannibal Rising. The show follows existing characters from Thomas Harris books, but puts a new twist on them, swapping the sex of some to add a new layer of interaction. While Hannibal is full of violence, blood, and gore, it is more intelligent than the average slasher show, and features one of Mads Mikkelsen's best performances of all time as Hannibal. Futamino. Season 2, Episode 6. The Tree Man in the Hannibal episode, Futamino. Hannibal is visually stunning even during crime scenes, and many of the dishes served look good enough to eat, despite the audience knowing what kind of meat Hannibal Lecter is serving. The episode, Futamino, shows this to great effect. The main crime scene features a man grafted onto a tree with his body full of flowers, while Hannibal prepares to throw a dinner party. The episode is a masterclass in suspense, with the viewer believing we know exactly what is happening as Jack Crawford becomes more suspicious of Hannibal. However, we are all shocked when it is revealed that Hannibal did not serve human meat at the party. This sets the stage for an even more disturbing moment as Hannibal feeds Gideon his own leg. Aperitif. Season 1, Episode 1. Mads Mikkelsen smiling as Hannibal Lecter. Virtually all of Hannibal's Season 1 episode titles are associated with classic French cuisine, and this perfectly sets the scene for the tone of the series. Hannibal Lecter is refined, even while being monstrous, and the first episode throws us in at the deep end with a perfect character study of the main characters in the show. We learn that while Will Graham can think like a killer, he is fragile and kind. On the other hand, Hannibal is cold and detached, and a very different person from his more famous scenes in The Silence of the Lambs. The first episode introduces all the elements that will be woven together throughout the show, and it was a spectacular beginning. Yakimono. Season 2, Episode 7. Hugh Dancy and Lawrence Fishburne arguing as Will and Jack in Hannibal. One of the best things about Hannibal is the way that it portrays the shifting mental states of many of the characters through disturbing imagery and music. Will Graham already struggles with his work before being manipulated by Hannibal, and in the episode Yakimono, he makes another shift. This episode is a turning point in the battle for Will's mind. The suspense and tension in Yakimono are near constant, with Will appearing to join Jack before sitting down to resume therapy with Hannibal at the end of the episode. There are some shocking moments, including Chilton being shot, which could have overshadowed the episode. However, the quieter story threads are so well acted that they are just as compelling to watch. Fromage. Season 1, Episode 8. The human instrument in the Hannibal episode Fromage. There are some weirdly funny moments in Hannibal, and many of them involve absurdist humor. The Season 1 episode, Fromage, contains several of these, which add some much-needed relief from the show's extremely dark tone. The murder scene involves a person who has been turned into a human musical instrument, with his vocal cords as strings. While this is disturbing, the moment becomes ridiculous when the murderer attempts to play the instrument, creating a terrible sound in an empty theater. The episode's theme continues in every detail, including a fight with a weaponized string, set to a soundtrack of distorted string instruments. Fromage may not be the highest-rated Hannibal episode, but these details make it a masterpiece. Muksuk. Season 2, Episode 5. Beverly Katz in a murder tableau in Hannibal. Muksuk features one of the most tragic moments in Hannibal, with the discovery of Beverly Katz's displayed body. Even the detested journalist Freddie Lounds shows some humanity in asking Jack to send someone else to try and prevent him from seeing the body. The episode is one of the highest-rated Hannibal episodes on IMDb, with a 9.2 score. Muksuk contains the usual cinematic style and creative flair in Hannibal, including a scene in which Mads Mikkelsen pulls off an impressive culinary trick. However, the episode is one of the best in the entire show for the acting. Hugh Dancy has walked a fine line portraying Will Graham's mental state, but he finally shows Will losing his nerve at the end of the episode. Digestivo. Season 3, Episode 7. Mads Mikkelsen as Hannibal Lecter with his hands behind his head and wounds on his face. Hannibal is famous for his dislike of rudeness, with many of his victims being killed and eaten for their perceived lack of manners. While most of these interactions take place and are resolved during one episode, Digestivo is the resolution to a longer plot thread. The episode perfectly represents Hannibal's mindset by dispatching the evil Mason Verger at last. Digestivo displays the best parts of the show, with grotesque imagery and unpredictability, as well as incredible emotional manipulation. When Hannibal surrenders, he ensures that Will always knows where to find him, and when Mason is finally killed, it is in a horrifying way that nobody could have predicted. The episode itself is a masterpiece of manipulation, as we find ourselves on Hannibal's side. Savoru. Season 1, Episode 13. Will points a gun at Hannibal in the episode Savoru. The Season 1 finale of Hannibal works as a crime drama, horror, and as art. The episode could have gone in any direction, with Will finally enduring a full break from reality. The dark TV show plays with your head almost as much as Will's, and yet despite so many complex plot threads, Savoru wraps them up and leaves the door open for Season 2. The episode has a 9.2 rating on IMDb, and is the highest-rated episode of Season 1. While replacing Anthony Hopkins as Hannibal might have felt unimaginable, the finale proved that Mads Mikkelsen's interpretation is equally brilliant. Savoru adds an Easter egg for the iconic movie by ending with Will standing in a cell resembling Hannibal in The Silence of the Lambs. Tarkiaways. Season 2, Episode 4. A murder victim in Hannibal covered in honeycomb. Season 2 has some of the best Hannibal episodes of all time, and Tarkiaways is an acting masterclass combined with one of the most disconcerting murder tableaus in Hannibal. When a lobotomized victim is found with a beehive in his head, Amanda Plummer gives a fantastically unhinged performance as the killer. Later, Mads Mikkelsen is measured but just as frightening. Tarkiaways is about quiet and peace, but approached in an extremely disturbing way. This theme carries over to Hannibal's scenes as he hunts Beverly Katz, who is getting close to discovering his true nature. The final scene in which he stands behind her in silence is easily one of the most ominous TV show scenes of all time.